The learning objective of this chapter is to become familiar with packing groups, types of packing, the testing of packages, and intermediate bulk containers, as described in the IMDG Code. The type and quality of packaging are obviously of great significance for the safe transportation of dangerous goods by sea. Such packaging must be compatible with the substance it contains, able to endure heat and cold, be capable of stacking without collapsing, and built to withstand handling typical of the trade. Thus, it is of no surprise that the packaging regulations contained in the IMDG Code are based on such physical demands. By the time packaged goods arrive on board a ship, the shipper or previous carrier should have taken all appropriate precautions, and there will normally be little for the ship's crew to concern themselves with in this respect. But again, a basic understanding of the regulations is of value to the seafarer, and vigilance can prevent incidents involving poor or improper packaging. The packing and tank provisions are a guide to mariners, authorities, shippers of dangerous goods and marine pollutants, manufacturers of packaging for such goods, and other persons involved in the handling, documentation, and transportation of dangerous goods. The general provisions apply to the packing of dangerous goods in all packagings, including IBCs and large packagings. There are also special packing provisions which apply to the goods of the following classes. Class 2, gases. Self-reactive substances of Class 4.1, Class 5.2, organic peroxides, Class 6.2, infectious substances, and Class 7, radioactive material. Packaging must be strong enough to withstand the shocks and loadings normally encountered during transport, including transshipment between different types of transport unit and warehouses. It shall be constructed and sealed in such a way that no contents are lost through vibration, changes in temperature, humidity or pressure, or the normal conditions of transport. This shall apply to packagings, large packagings, and intermediate bulk containers. All packagings must be of a successfully tested design. Inner packagings shall be of a construction that is not liable to puncture or breakage. Parts of packagings in direct contact with the dangerous goods shall not be affected by those goods, nor cause a dangerous effect by such contact. Sufficient ullage shall always be left when packagings and containers are filled with liquids, to ensure that there is no leakage or distortion as a result of expansion due to temperature change during transport. Individual packagings containing dangerous goods shall not be packed together in the same outer packaging as other goods with which a dangerous reaction is possible. Certain goods, such as those liable to give off flammable or toxic gases or vapors, or that may react dangerously with the atmosphere, must be hermetically sealed. The nature and thickness of outer packagings shall be such that friction does not generate any heat during transportation. Packagings may be new, reused, reconditioned, or remanufactured. Large packagings may be new or reused, and IBCs may be new, reused, repaired, or remanufactured. Reused packagings and containers shall be subject to continuing inspection and testing. Empty packagings and containers that have previously contained a dangerous substance shall be treated in the same way, until and unless they have been properly cleaned. Plastic drums, jerry cans and rigid and composite IBCs shall have a service life of a maximum of 5 years from the date of manufacture, except when a shorter period of use is prescribed because of the nature of the contents. Where especially large and strong articles cannot be packaged in accordance with the requirements and are in an empty or unclean condition, their transport may be specially approved by the appropriate marine authority. With the exception of a few particular classes where the nature of the goods directly affects the type of packaging used, dangerous goods are also assigned to one of 3 groups according to the degree of danger they present. Packing Group 1, substances presenting high danger. Packing Group 2, substances presenting medium danger. And Packing Group 3, substances presenting low danger. Salvage packaging is packaging used to contain damaged, defective, leaking or non-conforming packages or dangerous goods that have spilled or leaked. This is what will normally be used if a packing starts to leak during a voyage and the crew have to deal with the problem. All packaging used for the transport of dangerous goods must carry a special mark, indicating that they are of a successfully tested design type and comply with the requirements of the IMDG Code in respect of construction and testing. Such markings shall be durable, legible, and placed in such a location and of such a size relative to the packaging as to be readily visible. The exact size and location of the marking depends on the size of the packaging, and guidance is given in Chapter 6 of the Code. The general requirements in respect of marking apply to dangerous goods of all classes except 6.2, which have their own specific and additional requirements. This is an example of marking on a packaging. The marking has to show the United Nations packing symbol. This mark must not be used for any purpose other than certifying that a packaging complies with the relevant provisions. For embossed metal packaging, the capital letters UN may be applied instead of the symbol. The code designating the type of packaging. This is in 3 parts. A number, which indicates the kind of packaging, followed by a Latin letter, or letters, indicating the material, and another number, indicating the category of the packaging. Therefore, a code such as 3A2 may be encountered. A code in 2 parts, relating to the packing groups and the relative density for which the design has been tested. The letter X is used for packaging groups 1, 2, and 3, Y for packaging groups 2 and 3, and Z for packaging group 3 only. The second part indicates the relative density, rounded off to the first decimal, for which the design type has been tested. Either the letter S for packagings intended for the transport of solids, or for packagings intended to carry liquids, the hydraulic test pressure. The last 2 digits of the year of manufacture of the packaging. A representative letter or letters indicating the state authorized to allocate the mark. The international letters used for indicating the country of registration for motor vehicles are used for this purpose. The name or other identification mark of the manufacturer of the packaging. New metal drums also have a mark indicating the nominal thickness of the metal used in the body. Packaging manufactured using recycled plastic packagings must have the mark REC on them. Salvage packaging must be marked with the letter T. Reconditioned packagings have a slightly different mark, with some additional information to indicate the state in which the reconditioning was carried out, the identification mark of the reconditioner, and the year of reconditioning. The letter R indicates reconditioning, and L is included for those packagings successfully passing a leak-proof test. Special marking is required for Class 6.2 infectious substances. In addition to the basic markings described above, the text Class 6.2 must appear after the packaging code, and the solids mark or test pressure code are not indicated, as shown here. The letter U shown here indicates the packaging may be assembled within a secondary packaging and transported without testing under certain conditions, as detailed in the code. Certain classes of goods are subject to special packing provisions, and we will now look at these more closely. Click on the buttons to see more information on the special packing provisions for these classes. The intermediate bulk container is a packing method that falls between the carriage of a substance in bulk and ordinary packaging. The purpose is to gain efficiency in handling and increase flexibility for the user. In general, an IBC contains not more than 3 cubic meters or 3,000 liters, although the material used and the substance carried will determine this more exactly. An IBC must be suitable for handling by mechanical means. The general provisions for the use of IBCs are the same as for standard and large packagings, but there are some additional general provisions as well. An IBC can be rigid or flexible, made of any material such as paper, metal, wood or plastics. It can have a variety of opening arrangements and can be used to carry liquids or solids. In the same way as standard packagings are categorized, IBCs also have a code to indicate their material and use. The code consists of 2 numbers, followed by 1 or more capital letters. The numbers relate to whether the IBC contains solids or liquids, is filled and discharged by gravity or under pressure, has a liner, or similar features. Where IBCs are used for the transport of liquids with a low flash point or for powders liable to dust explosion, measures must be taken to prevent a dangerous electrostatic discharge. IBCs must also be periodically tested and marked accordingly. All IBCs manufactured and intended for the transport of dangerous goods must bear a mark, similar to that already described for standard packagings. The mark on an IBC shall show the United Nations packing symbol, the code designating the type of IBC, a code letter relating to the packing groups for which the design has been tested, the month and the last 2 digits of the year of manufacture, a representative letter or letters indicating the state authorized to allocate the mark, the name or other identification mark of the manufacturer, the stacking test load in kilograms, and the maximum permissible gross mass in kilograms. A tank is defined in the IMDG Code as a portable tank, including a tank container, a road tank vehicle, a rail tank wagon, or a receptacle to contain solids, liquids, or liquefied gases. A portable tank shall be capable of being filled and discharged without the removal of the structural equipment, and be capable of being lifted when full. Portable tanks should be adequately protected against damage during transport. The temperature of the outer surface of the shell shall not exceed 70 degrees Celsius during transport, and it shall, if necessary, be thermally insulated. A multiple element gas container is a multimodal assembly of cylinders, tubes, and bundles of cylinders, interconnected by a manifold, assembled within a framework and fitted with service and structural equipment, intended only for the transport of non-refrigerated gases. Special additional provisions apply to the transport of dangerous goods in portable tanks, depending on their class. The IMO previously recognized 7 types of portable tank, grouped according to their fittings, service and design, and some tanks are still in service under the regulations which previously applied. The IMDG Code now divides the provisions for the design, construction, inspection and testing of portable tanks into just 3 groups. Those for the transport of substances of Class 1 and Classes 3 to 9, those for the transport of non-refrigerated liquefied gases of Class 2, and those for the transport of refrigerated liquefied gases of Class 2. Every portable tank shall be fitted with a corrosion-resistant metal plate permanently attached in a place where it can easily be seen. Information shall be stamped on the plate, including various identification marks, pressures, content types and mass, dates of manufacture, and testing and serial numbers. Cargo transport unit is the term applied to a road freight vehicle, a railway freight wagon, a freight container, a road tank vehicle, a railway tank wagon, or a portable tank. Road vehicles must comply with the statutory requirements laid down in the appropriate national vehicle testing regulations. They must also be fitted with suitable supports and securing attachments to provide a safe and stable platform during transportation. Dangerous goods in limited quantities are subject to special labelling provisions. They shall be packed only in inner packagings placed in suitable outer packagings. Such goods need not be labelled as a marine pollutant or be marked with the proper shipping name, but shall be marked with the letters UN and the appropriate UN number contained within a diamond shape. Cargo transport units containing dangerous goods only in limited quantities need not be placarded, but shall bear the words limited quantities or the abbreviation LTD QTY. Limited quantities of dangerous goods for personal or household use that are packaged and distributed in a form intended or suitable for sale through retail agencies are in addition exempt from marking of the UN number on the packaging. The amount of a marine pollutant in an inner container is restricted when it is being shipped under limited quantity provisions. Packagings used to transport dangerous goods in accepted quantities are subject to special labelling provisions. They shall be packed only in special inner packagings, placed in suitable outer packagings which incorporate absorbent cushioning material as added protection. The manufacture, reconditioning and testing of packaging shall be carried out under a proper quality assurance, in order to ensure that each packaging meets the provisions of the IMDG Code. Tests are carried out on representative samples of design types. Various tests will be carried out depending on the type of packaging. Click on the buttons below to learn more about certain tests.